In this video, I'm going to share 11 new things to know about the Fitbit Charge 6 based on my experience wearing it over the past 7 days. Just to be clear, this video is not sponsored, and I bought the Fitbit Charge 6 with my own money. I also did not pay for any features that require a subscription to use, so my review is based on not having Fitbit Premium. With that said, here are 11 things to know about Fitbit Charge 6. Number 1. Haptic button. The design of the Fitbit Charge 6 is nearly identical to the design of the Charge 5. It uses the same display, same sensors, and the same easy-to-change bands. The only difference is that the Charge 6 has a button on the left side, while the Charge 5 has no button interaction at all. It is a haptic button, meaning it doesn't physically move when you press it. Instead, you'll feel and hear it vibrate to let you know that it's been pressed. It's the best non-physical button I've used on a wearable. It performs 100% as well as a true physical button, and it makes the Charge 6 easier to use than the Charge 5. Number 2. Zoom plus magnification. Fitbit Charge 6 features the first accessibility feature on a Fitbit device. If enabled, you can tap 3 times anywhere on the screen, and the text and icons will magnify. This is not a permanent magnification though, and you'll need to tap 3 times again or press the side button to be able to navigate to a different screen. This optional feature can be enabled in the on-device settings, and you can choose between 2x or 3x for the zoom ratio. Number 3. Google Wallet. Fitbit Pay is no longer an option for contactless payments on the Charge 6. Instead, you'll need to set up and use Google Wallet. I found it relatively easy to add a credit card, and I had no issues when I used my Charge 6 to pay for a shopping trip at Target. Number 4. Google Maps. You can view turn-by-turn directions on your Fitbit Charge 6 with the new Google Maps app. This does require a quick one-time setup process in the Fitbit app, and you'll first need to use Google Maps on your paired phone to get directions. But once you start navigating, the Charge 6 can automatically start providing the next turn on its display. I tried this out on my trip to Target. It worked well enough and vibrated after each turn to provide me with information for the next turn. Number 5. YouTube Music Controls. Fitbit Charge 6 has a new YouTube Music app that lets you start, stop, and skip songs from your wrist. This is the only music feature available on the Charge 6, and it requires you to have a paid YouTube Music Premium subscription. Because I didn't want to use any features that required additional payments for this review, I did not try out this feature. I did notice that you can access the YouTube Music controls during a workout by swiping down from the top of the display, which is a nice touch. Finally, if you don't use YouTube Music, you can uninstall the app so it doesn't appear on your device. Number 6. Exercise modes. Fitbit Charge 6 now has over 40 exercise modes to choose from, including 20 new options that weren't available on the Charge 5. Also new is that all exercise modes are now available on wrist. You'll first have to find your desired mode in the long alphabetical list, but once you complete a workout in that mode, it will start to appear on the first screen. For example, I have walk, bike, spin, and hike on my first screen now, and I can press more to find other modes I haven't used yet. Number 7. Heart rate broadcasting. Fitbit Charge 6 is the first Fitbit that can share or broadcast its heart rate values to other compatible Bluetooth devices such as gym equipment. My older Garmin Edge 520 cycling computer wasn't compatible, but I was able to successfully connect my Charge 6 to the Zwift desktop app via my iMax Bluetooth. I did a full stage of the 2023 Tour of Watopia, and the heart rate from my Fitbit Charge 6 matched what was displayed on my Zwift screen the entire time with no connectivity issues at all. Number 8. Heart rate accuracy. In my opinion, the biggest promise of the Fitbit Charge 6 is improved heart rate accuracy. I have personally used every Fitbit since the Charge HR was released back in 2015, and not a single Fitbit device has ever been able to reliably measure my heart rate accurately during workouts where my heart rate goes above 150 to 160 beats per minute. I am so happy to report that this is no longer the case. I tracked my heart rate during 7 workouts, including 1 hike, 1 outdoor bike ride, 2 indoor spins, and 3 walks. During each workout, I wore the Charge 6 on one wrist, another wearable on my other wrist, and I also wore a Polar H10 chest strap, which is generally considered to be the most accurate way to measure heart rate during personal workout. For each individual workout, I've created a plot with time on the horizontal or x-axis and heart rate values on the vertical or y-axis. In these plots, the red values are always the heart rate values from the Polar H10 chest strap. In this plot of my walk on October 12, the blue values are the heart rate values from the older Fitbit Charge 5. As you can see, once my heart rate starts to get above about 150 beats per minute, it dips down and doesn't come back up until sometime after the peak. And it happens twice. This same walk was my first time wearing the Fitbit Charge 6 during a workout, so let's add the Charge 6's heart rate values in black. And this is the result. Finally, the Charge 6 didn't have any significant dips and stayed close to the Polar H10 the entire time. I can remove the Charge 5 from the plot so you can more easily compare the Charge 6 and the Polar H10. Visually, the Charge 6 values in black are nearly on top of the Polar H10 values in red, and follow almost exactly the same ups and downs. The next day, I went for a 15-mile bike ride, and this is the plot of my heart rate data. Again, the Polar H10 chest strap is in red, and the Fitbit Charge 6 is in black. And again, the Charge 6 values are nearly the same as the chest strap values. The next day, I did an indoor spinning workout. This time, the Charge 6 values are in blue, but again, the overall shape of the two lines don't differ significantly. Here's a hike I did, where there were a few differences, especially toward the end of the hike, but still not too bad. Another indoor spin, and it looks quite good to my eye. Another walk, that looks good. And another walk. That looks pretty good. Now for comparison, I wore the Fitbit Charge 5 on 5 of these same workouts. I already showed you my first walk, but here it is again. Polar H10 chest strap is the red line, Charge 6 is the black line, and Charge 5 is the blue line. Charge 6 is clearly more accurate than Charge 5. Here's the bike ride I did. Charge 5 is respectable, however there's a big difference near the beginning of the ride. And here's the hike I did. Charge 5 is terrible here. And those times where the blue line is horizontal is where my tracker was actually showing dash dash instead of an actual number on the display for the heart rate. Here's one of the indoor spins. Charge 5 performs pretty good here, but it still has a little flub the first time I get near 160 beats per minute. And finally, another walk, where Charge 6 did very well and Charge 5 had some significant differences. My overall takeaway from this first week of testing is that the Fitbit Charge 6 definitely has improved heart rate accuracy, especially when compared to the Fitbit Charge 5. And I currently give the Fitbit Charge 6 my seal of approval if you need a Fitbit with accurate heart rate during higher intensity workouts. Number 9, GPS accuracy. Although the heart rate accuracy has definitely improved, the built-in GPS accuracy has not. I used the built-in GPS for 5 outdoor workouts, including 1 hike, 1 outdoor bike ride, and 3 walk. 2 things I look at when considering GPS accuracy are the workout map and if the GPS track is close to the actual route I know I took, as well as the total distance of the workout compared to another device. For the hike I did, the GPS actually stopped in the middle of my workout and did not capture my entire route. For the 3 walks, 2 of them had the generally correct route but very squiggly lines, and the third had recorded a few data points so far off my actual route that the workout map looked like a mess. The bike ride was reasonably accurate in comparison, with no seriously incorrect data points nor any squiggly lines, but still some lines further off my actual route than I'd consider acceptable. As for the distances, the Charge 6 reported 10 to 20% longer distances than my iPhone for my 3 walking workouts, which makes sense given the squiggly lines it recorded. It reported 2.5% shorter distance than my Garmin Edge 520 for my bike ride, and ironically, it reported the exact same distance as my iPhone for my hike where the built-in GPS failed, but that was probably because it defaulted to using my step count and stride length to calculate the total distance. So at this point, I cannot recommend the Fitbit Charge 6 if you want to use the built-in GPS and have it be accurate. Number 10, battery life. Fitbit says that the Charge 6 can last up to 7 days on a single charge, depending on your usage. But this assumes that you don't use the always-on display, the built-in GPS, or the new heart rate broadcasting, as these features will drain your battery more quickly. As you can see from my daily heart rate graphs, I've been wearing the Fitbit Charge 6 nearly 24/7 for just over 7 days now, tracking my sleep each night and a workout every day. I do take my Fitbit off after every workout to clean it and give my wrist a little break. For this round of testing, I chose to have the always-on display enabled only during workouts. Also, the Charge 6 notifies you when your battery gets down to 20%, so that is the percentage I chose to start charging back to 100%. I have completed 2 charging cycles from 100% down to 20%. For both charging cycles, I was able to track 4 nights of sleep and 2 to 3 hours of exercise with the always-on display enabled, including about 2 hours of exercise using the built-in GPS. Sleep tracking consistently drained the battery by about 4 to 5% each night. Ultimately, I was able to get about 80 hours of on-wrist time before I got the low battery notification. So for this round of testing, my battery life was about 3.33 days. Also, if you're wondering how long it takes to charge back up to 100% from 20%, it took exactly 1.5 hours both times. Number 11, Google account required. Fitbit Charge 6 is the first Fitbit that requires you to log into the Fitbit app with a Google account. If you already have a Fitbit account, you'll be asked during the setup process if you want to transfer your historical data to your new Google account login. Also, setting up your Fitbit Charge 6 will require you to update to the latest version of the Fitbit app, which has a new design that you may or may not prefer. If you found this video helpful, could you please give it a thumbs up down below and consider subscribing if you want to see more wearable review videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.